Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host 𝙒𝙖𝙩𝙦 and this is episode 353 of Daily Global Insights. We are picking up action from the SCO that is taking place in Samarkand of Uzbekistan, and allow me to introduce my co-host 𝗤𝙧𝙤𝙪𝙥𝙥. Sridharji, namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel.
Namaskar, good morning to everybody, and we've got some good exciting stuff going on all around the world.
So, Sridharji, in the SCO, I was looking forward to three different conversations. Xi Jinping versus Putin, Putin versus Modi, and Xi Jinping versus Modi. So let's go with the first one. How did things go between Xi Jinping and Putin, sir?
I think that the Xi Jinping-Putin camaraderie went along the predicted lines. Xi Jinping expressed some concerns to Mr. Vladimir Putin, which he acknowledged on the Ukraine war, possibly saying there are several ways by which we can tackle, but as a responsible early superpower, this is not good optics to the world in terms of the conduct, and it's been delayed beyond acceptance, at least in the world's views, because Russia is considered a superpower. They expected the dispensation of war. But having said that, Xi Jinping expressed his support and sympathy for Vladimir Putin, and Vladimir Putin expressed his sympathy and support for Xi Jinping, especially around the Taiwan situation, and they agreed to work together in a broad camaraderie to challenge the unipolar order of United States.
Sir, any announcements regarding the currency, anything to do with that, ruble, renminbi, sir?
Well, I think that that particular trend they've already announced, which is namely that going forward.
Yeah, we covered it a couple of episodes ago. Got it.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that already that is rolling down, and I think we reported that the Moscow exchange is now seeing very high activity around the renminbi ruble trade or yuan ruble trade.
And looks like Iran is now a member of the SCO. Now, SCO has, again, 15, 16 countries. You're also having the Indo-Pacific bloc that has 13 countries. I'm just trying to see, and India has a foot in both camps. Let's take a look at what happened when Modi met Putin. He has made some very strong observations. He said there should be no war. So how do you see that message? Is he saying stop this madness, cut your losses and get out, or do you see something else, sir?
I think Modi ji has become a very astute diplomat leader in terms of dealing with the multipolarity of the world. While patting Mr. Putin on one end, which is to say, we have long decades of friendship, we know each other, we have a lot of respect for each other, we have traded with each other, but basically saying war is not a solution to any specific problem. It only aggravates, the world order. It also aggravates your own position and the agony of the people. That in no way one can transact business. So let's see what you can do in terms of, completing this, to which Vladimir Putin seems to have indicated is trying to expedite this and, bring this to some form of a closure. That seems to be coming out, at least, from what I've heard, based on Modi's camaraderie and conversations, one-on-one conversations with Vladimir Putin.
Sir, I see in the several points that Modi has talked about at the summit, I see two things that really stand out, Sridharji. One is India is recognizing its strength as a manufacturing hub, and Modi ji has promoted that. The second most important thing, the use of millets. Millets was something that was in vogue across this region, but somehow it is not considered to be in the same level as, say, rice and wheat. So people deliberately stopped eating millets. They're also called as navadanya. There are 9 different types of things, jowar and so on and so forth. And they stopped eating that. And now what we are seeing is lots of health-related problems. And I think by showcasing that, I think he's really, really doing something that perhaps nobody else has done before. I'm really impressed, sir.
I think that he picked up a point which none in the world. First, plenty of millet is grown in the region. The plenty of millets have been historically consumed in the region. Yes. When the world is confronted with food security issues, and especially around supply chain and logistics around the food movement, why cannot we kind of produce more and amongst the Central Asian region, use millets as a way to feed people and keep them out of hunger and also healthy?
So I can just extol the virtues on and on. Millets will keep your weight under control. It also will help in fighting diabetes. It is overall what many people used to eat up until maybe 100 years ago. And we have suddenly moved away from that. And I think to try and put the focus back on that, plus millets will grow in semi-arid regions.
Very true, very true. Just to, I think that is emphasizing millets is a very profound, especially around the food. I think the other thing that I want to point out, either I don't know whether we are transiting from Modi, but there are three important things that one can walk away with. We have always talked about Modi saying, strategic flexibility and reach. So strategic flexibility he is demonstrating. He went into this SCO meet, which is clearly telling the world, I'm not going in to take sides, one side of the camp or the other side of the camp. I'm going in with a clear intent, to handshake and to say, how can we work together? And I think he re-emphasized that message. This summit is about being relevant in a changing world. I think that's the first message he delivered. Second, he stayed away from any contrarian issues and he focused on themes that are very relevant and important for the region, be it manufacturing, be it food, be it Medicare or health-related issues by touching on COVID, but by keeping open boundaries and navigation, especially with focus around Pakistan on the Gwadar port, which is needed for access into Afghanistan. So I think he stayed. This is the second important message. The third, he only met people who are willing to be non-hostile and working with him. Be it Iran, has not been hostile to India, be it Uzbekistan, which has always led the way and has been a great friend of India, and third, of course, the historical relationship with Putin. So he did his business, he delivered his message, and he's walked away. So it's very impressive by way of outcome, one can say, in terms of the Modi footprint in Uzbekistan.
Third, the most telling statement that we haven't discussed about, the Modi-Xi Jinping no meeting. It's like going to a host's house and not even greeting the host and then coming back. That took some chutzpah.
Well, I think, they made it very clear. If we are going to be hostile in our border, we don't want to be working with people who are hostile. Remove hostilities, want to conduct, respect sovereignty, respect borders, respect rule of law on maritime navigation. If we can't respect any of these things, why would I need to meet and discuss with you? Your actions should speak louder than words before we shake hands. That has been India's message, especially China and Pakistan is concerned.
And we have two important news items to cover. The first one is about Russia-Ukraine war. Sridharji, looks like Zelensky's hometown got bombed.
Yes, I think we touched on it, but now it's official that it looks like 8 cruise missiles struck a target in his hometown, and it looks like that's a dam, and then flooding around the city, and people needed to be evacuated, effectively making Zelensky cry foul and saying you are doing a soft target that is not a military target. There's no military. This is not the way to conduct war. I think Vladimir Putin is sending a message, for me, any target is a target. So therefore, I'll choose what I want to do because I'm in the middle of a war. And you are buying equipment from all over the places and, targeting me. So therefore, I choose. So I think that's the first thing. And I think that there is very mixed reporting. You can have, if you are Russian, you have one set of reports. If you are Ukrainian, you have another set of reports. But the net result is only one thing. The war has not been executed. There are damages on either sides, and it is creating a havoc in global economy.
Now, let's take a look at the German stance against Russia. A couple of things that Germany has done. To me, one is that they have nationalized a couple of companies of Russia. And the second thing that they have done is that they have supplied arms to Ukraine. Now, where do you see the Germany-Russia relationship going? Because in my opinion, and I could be wrong, sir, as Germany goes, so goes EU.
Well, I think the two important countries in EU, Germany and France, both have taken a very hostile position, asking Russia to concede and get out, which they have not. First and foremost, I think that the German point, the three parties which form the coalition must unify and determine whether further equipment is going to be sent to Ukraine in the completion of the war. Certainly in Germany, there's a growing belief amongst the political circles that Ukraine is winning the war. So therefore, sending more tanks, which they are requesting for physical advancement, is a necessity, and they may choose to go down. To which Vladimir Putin has responded by saying Germany has crossed the red line. So therefore, it is now very much part of this particular war. So to give you, I mean, roundabout, to give you very specific, I think Germany is now saying, enough is enough, and we are, either you get out or we are going to help somebody else prosecute the war.
And now let's go to the illegals in America. They are wreaking havoc. They are in Martha's Vineyard, which is supposed to be one of the most priciest cities or places in the United States. They are in El Paso, and we are going to show you some sites. Thanks to Reuters, we are going to show you some sites on how the immigrants have taken over the city. They are squatting on the streets, making life really miserable, but more importantly, who allowed them in. Let's take a quick look at some pictures now. Next. 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 And that's about it. Thank you very much. So it echoes this message. First of all, I don't think US was prepared for this. Second of all, I don't know what the progressives are trying to accomplish. That, this is not just one city. Sridharji and I told you about one of the most priciest hotels in Manhattan has been thrown open to house some of these illegals. Now in Martha's Vineyard, you have them sitting there. Sridharji, this thing is going out of control. What exactly is the plan of Madam Kamala Harris?
Well, first and foremost, if you had listened to her press briefing on Thursday, which was very, very hostile, she denied that there's any problem in the border. And then she took exception that the Republicans have taken a very political, provocative position of sending buses. And then you had illegals right near our house being interviewed, and they basically saying the border is open and any of us can come in at will at any point of time. Border Patrol just catches and then releases us. So therefore, the borders are free and open for us to come in, contradicting Madam Harris's statement. Of course, she would not want to have anybody in Martha's Vineyard or near her house because it's a big distraction. But it's okay for them to be in Texas or anywhere else they're making their entry into, maybe Arizona, maybe California, maybe into as we said, Texas. But the fact is that the Biden administration seems to have a clear agenda as far as illegals are concerned. Basically, get them in and make it such impossible proposition to be repatriated or to be sent back. So come up with an amnesty program by which all these people can be legitimized to be normalized or harmonized into the US society seems to be their intent. And they are doing it in this unfortunate, surreptitious manner without recognizing the consequences of law and order and national security to United States. And they also sovereignty. I don't know how many nations, at least 4 or 5 nations seems to be standing out. Venezuela, Mexico, El Salvador, etc. They all seem to be coming from quite a few nations, and this is not stopping. Very unfortunate, Sriji.
Sridharji, one interview like what you said is going to open the floodgates. Half of Mexico will say, here we go. We are the closest neighbors.
Well, I think that the United States, particularly the progressives in the present administration, seems to have taken a very provocative position as far as the borders are concerned. This has been Bernie Sanders' view right from day one, which is open borders, open borders. So therefore, open borders has come, and we are now well into the floodgates being opened for these illegals to come in. To give a sort of a pun, they said they moved 50 illegals out of Martha's Vineyard, and they showed video of 500 illegals freely marching in from Mexican border into El Paso.
That's it for today. This is the end of episode 353. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.
Namaskar. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.